Your love is a delicate flower. So anyway, I'm going to skip the platitudes. I want this to be a practical commencement address, and I'm going to do my best to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable to say, even when I probably shouldn't say it, because you're already swimming in half-truths, in people telling you what they think you want to hear. And in the next phase of your life, I promise you, you will encounter more. I should preface this by saying that the problem I'm going to describe involves a bad word. Not the worst word, but a bad word, though I made sure I only have to say it now and then one more time at the end, so if you want to distract any little kids for 1 second, please do so. One of the greatest threats we face, simply put, is bullshit. We are drowning in it. We are drowning in partisan rhetoric that is just true enough not to be a lie, in industry-sponsored research, in social media's imitation of human connection, in legalese and corporate doublespeak. It infects every facet of public life, corrupting our discourse, wrecking our trust in major institutions, lowering our standards for the truth, and making it harder to achieve anything. And it wends its way into our private lives as well, changing even how we interact with one another. The way casual acquaintances will now say, "I love you." The way we describe whatever thing as the best thing ever. The way we are blurring the lines between friends and strangers. And we know that. There have been books written about the proliferation of malarkey, empty talk, baloney, claptrap, hot air, balderdash, bunk. One book was aptly named, "Your Call is Important to Us." But this is not only a challenge to society, it's a challenge we all face as individuals. Life tests our willingness in ways large and small to tell the truth. And I believe that so much of your future and our collective future depends on your doing so. So I'm going to give you 3 honest, practical lessons about cutting the BS. Number 1, don't cover for your inexperience. You are smart, talented, educated, conscientious, untainted by the mistakes and conventional wisdom of the past. But you are also very annoying. Because there is a lot that you don't know that you don't know. Your parents are nodding. You've been annoying them for years. Why do you think they paid for college? So that you might finally, at long last, annoy someone else. And now your professors are nodding. F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "Yeah, this should definitely be in 3D. No. 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 What he said was, the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. That's what you have to do. You have to be confident in your potential and aware of your inexperience. And that's really tough. There are moments when you'll have a different point of view because you're a fresh set of eyes, because you don't care how it's been done before, because you're sharp and creative, because there is another way, a better way. But there will also be moments when you have a different point of view because you're wrong. Because you're 23 and you should shut up and listen to somebody who's been around the block. Now the old people are applauding. It's hard to tell the difference. You know, I love to get this one wrong. I got it wrong a ton when I started out as a speechwriter for Hillary Clinton. I got it wrong again when I became a presidential speechwriter. I worked on one speech about the financial system that caused the Dow to drop like 200 points. You know, so that speech could have been better probably. Just this past year, I faced the same dilemma co-creating a show on NBC. It's called 1600 Penn, and while you may have heard of it, based on the ratings, you almost certainly didn't see it. Though, it recently did make some headlines when it was canceled. I had never so much as written a line of dialogue before I wrote this show, but I'm working with directors and writers and executives with years and years of experience in the biz. We call it the biz. I will always cringe remembering those little embarrassing moments when I said something dumb on a conference call, when my inexperience poked through, when I should have been more solicitous of the judgment of those around me. There's a reminder that it's not mutually exclusive to be confident and humble, to be skeptical and eager to learn. But there's another side to this coin, which brings me to lesson number 2. Sometimes you're going to be inexperienced, naive, untested, and totally right. And then in those moments, you have to make a choice. Is this a time to speak up or hold back? And it won't be easy. If you see something, say something. And I've tried to honor that ever since, to call BS when I see it, and to not be afraid to get in people's faces and throw a punch or two to make a point. Metaphorically, look at me. I wouldn't do well in an altercation. Now, lessons 1 and 2 can be intention, and I can't tell you how to strike the balance every time, though it helps to be very charming. And from my point of view, I'd rather be wrong and cringe than right and regret not speaking up. But the good news is, as long as you aren't stubbornly wrong so frequently that they kick you out of the building, or so meek that everyone forgets you're in the building, you'll learn and grow and get better at striking that balance until your inexperience becomes experience. So it's a dilemma that solves itself. How awesome is that? Finally, number 3. Know that being honest, both about what you do know and about what you don't, can and will pay off. Up until recently, I would have said that the only proper response to our culture of BS is cynicism, that it would just get worse and worse. But I don't believe that anymore. And I think this matters for what comes next for you. I think we've reached a turning point. I'm going to say the word one last time. I believe we may have reached peak bullshit. And that increasingly, those who push back against the noise and nonsense, those who refuse to accept the untruths of politics and commerce and entertainment and government will be rewarded, that we are at the beginning of something important.